Hi, everyone. This is Norman Kochnick here for Eyes on Cricket. Yet again, we're into a new season. The summer of cricket, which has hit England, is on our way. We've got David Graven just joining us as well. I'm just going to get him up.
There you go.
Hello, David. That was beautifully done.
Sitting in the English countryside as we speak.
You've got rid of the moustache.
Yeah.
Now, David, we've got Steve Maven, who you spoke to earlier.
Yep.
Hello, mate.
How
you going? I'm well, thank you. We're on the opposite sides of the globe, but coming in loud and clear.
Yeah. Victoria doesn't sound to be too healthy at present, but
no. Well, we're
David. You look decidedly younger. You've got basically you're hairless on the face, whereas I've got all the hair now.
Yeah, I've never. If I tried that, I had some. The moustache was as far as I could go. Though I did get in the top 10 of cricketing moustaches. You can imagine who was number one. Some bloke used to bowl for Victoria, and abuse everybody.
So Chris Vernon was Chris is.
Were you talking about Merv Hughes before? Was that Merv Hughes you were talking about then? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, the great Merv Hughes, Aussie legend. We should have named.
That's a proper moustache.
Yeah, and he used to do the in front of the crowd, all that sort of stuff. He's a real character. Yeah, we'd all know who we're talking about. Yes.
So Chris Vernon is going to join us. Chris is currently on a train from Kent into St John's Wood, I'm imagining, on his way to the Lords. Today we have a test match between England and New Zealand. We've got some incredible player ins and outs. We'll have tosses coming shortly. We'll have the team announced fully, and we'll have some tantrums, I'm sure. In fact, one tantrum that will not exist is James Bracey is happily in the side. And David, you know him very well.
He plays for Gloucestershire, which is the county, or one of the counties I played for. My father played for Gloucestershire. My uncle played for Gloucestershire. All three of us were captain, and we all got sacked by Gloucestershire. But apart from that, he's a delightful young man, and he's waited very patiently. And he's had a really hard 12 months because he's been involved in these bio bubbles, which if you're not playing, well, it's hard enough if you are playing, but if you're not playing, it must be an extremely difficult time. So it's not.
So he's a wicket-keeper batsman, eh?
Bio bubble that Michael Slater was complaining about being in a water lodge in the Maldives. I think the conditions they face are a bit more extreme.
Yeah, that'd be a better choice to be there. But yeah, so he's taken the gloves, and they say he's going to be batting at number 7. So he's a good gloveman and can hold the bat too.
He's mainly he's a batter, but he's taken over the gloves. He's I think very nicely balanced in terms of confidence, not overconfident. But any job that he's taken to, he's a very old-fashioned player as far as he went to university, got his degree, and still continued to play high-level cricket, which I'd have to say is quite unusual these days, sadly. So he's a very impressive young man. He'll obviously be very nervous, but he'll cope with that.
So he's batting. He's batting at number 7 at the moment, but he normally bats at number 7. Sorry, he normally bats up the order.
No, he bats the first 3 for Gloucester. So,
yeah, there you go. Well, there's a bit more depth in the lineup of the.
Yeah, that's the way the modern game goes. But it's a bit of a double-edged sword. Some people are quite used to wanting to go in early and don't like hanging around. So if you suddenly go 7, well, then you're lucky you might have to wait a day and a half. But I think that New Zealand are a really, really good team. And the last time they walked onto that pitch, they suffered the greatest heartbreak of all time, really, in terms of the
yes. So that was tied after 50 overs, wasn't it?
I'm going to just quickly interrupt here for a moment, guys. Just want to announce we've got Munchie's come on, and he said that He's got 30 minutes for his next call. He's looking forward to so much to the cricket today. The sun is shining. It's a warm day with the toss and bat. So we've also got JDP Bowden. Now, he's sitting next to Chris Vernon on the train. And when Chris gets his act together, we'll be able to see both of them on the program.
Yep, fair enough. So, England, they've come off a series loss to India, I believe, and there's a few question marks about them bouncing back. I believe they didn't handle the spinners too well, and they got bagged a bit for that. But so they'd be really looking to bounce back at tonight.
Absolutely.
I think the trial by spin, I think they're quite happy to avoid that for a while. So, I think it does underline actually how well India did on Australia to win in foreign conditions, having been bowled out to Adelaide for 12, whatever it was. The bounce back from that is against the grain in terms of international cricket. The thing that makes New Zealand a threat to England is that their conditions are very similar to ours. The loss of Trent Bolt not being available.
So just, David, your voice is a bit low. It's probably, you might get a bit closer to the microphone on your phone. Otherwise, I understand you're in a car. It makes it difficult. But, David, just in terms of the batting order for England, clearly Sipley and Rory Burns look like they're going to open with Zach Crawley at first and then Root at number 4. And then you've got Ollie Pope with Lawrence. Apparently Lawrence is going to be in there as well. And then on to the young player that you mentioned, is James Brayson.
They've got a young lineup, but talented. Pope and Lawrence have shown that they can cope with the pressure of playing international cricket. I think it'd be. I think Norman. I think just people are so happy to be able to play international cricket with somebody watching in the ground. Then they're just happy about that, really.
Well, it's a big step, isn't it? Because there's been no cricket there for 2 years almost, and even though it's a reduced capacity, only 25%, at least the fans can go and watch the cricket at Lord's. So that's a huge step, isn't it?
David, how far are you from the ground?
It'll be a day of celebration. Let's put it like that. So.
Yeah, and obviously be looking to Captain Joe Root to get some runs too, because he got some runs against India, and you'll definitely need a captain's knock, so they say, from Joe.
Everything all right, David?
He's got a good record at Lords, so yeah, I think New Zealand are a threat. I think England will be prepared. It'll be some familiar faces that they play against, which actually is, even if they're opponents, if you've played against them before, well, that actually helps. Some of the players they played against India, they wouldn't play them very often. So it'll be, they'll all be speaking the same language, so that helps. So, it'll be good. Well, it's not raining. That's most important.
Is it clear skies, though, David? Is it clear skies, or what do you see?
Well, normally in England, if we have 2 sunny days, then we have an outbreak of thunderstorms. So that's actually happening sort of where I live in the west. But I think the weather is, reasonably set there. Yeah, we've had more rain in May, Norman, than records have been written, like in Wales. So we've been flooded for a day.
So
it's very unseasonably.
Is Sam Curran involved today? He's not playing, is he?
Sorry, no what?
Sam Curran?
So I didn't catch Sam Curran. Sorry, no one?
I didn't hear that, sorry.
Yeah, Sam Curran.
Yeah.
I didn't hear your question.
Oh, sorry, Sam Curran, is he expected in the 11?
No,
Sam.
Struggling to hear the question.
Yeah, your signal's dropping in and out. It's not
Yeah,
that strong
David,
where you
probably
are.
not good.
Hmm.
All right, David, what's
So
your
no,
prediction
do
today?
you want me around tonight? Moment, do you want me around tonight for the review of the day?
All right, David. David, why don't you keep driving, and we'll catch you when you're in a better spot, because we're losing your voice where you are now. Maybe just you drive a bit further on, and when the spot, perhaps we can get you to talk then. All right?
All right, well, we'll continue talking about this test today. So England also, they're coming out to Australia for the Ashes, and that's going to be a big test as well. And I heard Joe Root talking about it, and he said, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We're going to worry about the 2 tests against New Zealand, but that's a big series coming up as well when they come out here to take on the Aussies for the Ashes in our winter.
Well, the reality is that England are playing the 2 test matches against the Kiwis. Then the Kiwis play India, as we know, for the World Test Championship in June. But then India and England will have a fairly long series, some 5 tests over the July-August months. In fact, more August and onwards. England are going to have a fair whack of cricket, as in Test cricket, to be able to really test their ability. Now, Munchie, can you see the comments there, Steve? Munchie says he doesn't expect my spin today. Being Lords, it's obviously a sloping wicket, and it will suit the medium to fast paces.
Yep. Okay.
And we've got people like Terence Aldrin there, who says, good to watch cricket at Lords after some time. And, and also the FS will be a great competition, England versus New Zealand. England will have an upper hand due to the home conditions. You would think so, even though England is somewhat depleted.
Yeah, and also, well, if you go on the ICC rankings for the World Test Championship that's coming up on the 18th of June, which we'll probably talk about a bit later, then number 1 is India, number 2 is New Zealand, just ahead of Australia. So on those rankings, then you'd have to think New Zealand would be the favourites there. But like you said, England at home, you've got to give that.
All right, we've got that cricket guy who has a big following. Again, can you tell me, you've got my email, have you got my email address? That cricket guy? Well, send me an Instagram message and I'll get you on, okay? Come on. All right?
Come in, that cricket guy. You're welcome.
Yeah, you've got to go onto my Instagram now.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting to get a hold of. Have you got my Instagram? I'll send you a. So Munchie thinks there'll be
6,000 in the ground.
Yeah, Munchie thinks there'll be 6,000 in the ground. Are you going to be there, Munchie, yourself? I'm just checking on this message.
I've had the munchies myself a few times, Norman, over the years, but that was back in my youth. Food-wise, yeah, I do get a bit peckish. I'm trying to watch the weight, but yeah, no, it's going to be good. It's going to be on Fox Cricket in Australia here, and it kicks at 8:00 Australian time. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting game, and also we just mentioned the ICC World Cricket finals coming up soon as well.
So
it's actually the World Test Championship final.
That cricket guy actually has a name, and he's Soban Garnak. Now, Soban Garnak has a sizable YouTube channel, but we never know who he is because he's called that cricket guy. We're about to find out. He's about to join us for the first time. Now, Munchie.
Let's ask him.
Munchie, Chris Vernon has I think he has your cap. I didn't send it to you, Munchie. I sent it directly to Chris Vernon. I know you gave me your address, but the hat's coming to you. Actually, Steve, you haven't even prompted me. I'm very upset with you.
Yeah.
You should have
Well, tell us about the cap.
This is my new cap, guys. Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochnick. We've got the Eyes on Cricket jacket here as well, as you can see. And I'll even be able I'm not stripping, guys. Don't worry. I'm not stripping, but I even have the shirt there as well.
Nice pink.
Well, the colour's not relevant, but the pink. And wait a minute, I'm about to unveil even the shirt here. Where is it? Okay, so there it is. There it is. There we've got Laura and Hardy, which happens to be Chris Vernon and I. That is an Aussie and a Pom talk all things cricket with India. That's what we've got on there. So I'm a male model, guys, as you know, as you would have got used to. The eyes on cricket, the eyes on cricket there. The eyes on cricket. I never can know left and right. Eyes on cricket, and then on top of it, we've got this T-shirt there. They're all things that you'll be able to get on my merchandising page very shortly. So muchy.
And not a lot of guys can pull off the pink, mate. It's you're doing it good.
I can pull pink, right?
It's been really wet the last few days. Yeah, well, David just said that.
Yeah.
So difficult to call what will happen in a couple of weeks.
Difficult to call what will happen in a couple of weeks. The reality is, I think if any good side in a test match, when they win the toss, they'll bat first. It's generally what you do. It's a rule of thumb.
Yeah, back yourself.
Back yourself. In test cricket, absolutely. I would argue that's the way to go. So we're waiting.
So all right. Well, while we wait, we're going to talk about Devin Conway making his debut for the Kiwis. So he's a South African-born lefty, and he's going to open the batting with Tom Latham. So that's he's scored, I think, 18 tons in the white ball game, and he's forced his way into this lineup, and it's going to add some spark at the top of the order for the Kiwis.
Amazing. All right, now, Soban, I'm not going to call you that cricket guy. We're going to call you Soban Ganak.
Yeah. Soban Ganak. That's a good pronunciation.
Soban Ganak. Now I have a bone to pick with you. You have got a channel there with all sorts of things on there that nobody knows how you get. How did you get Pat Cummins hugging his wife when you're in India?
Actually, I'm always active on Twitter, and I also follow a lot of Australian cricket bloggers. So I got it from I got it from someone from Australia. She posted that video, and I just downloaded it and posted it on my channel.
All right. Well, how about you tell me about it? Because I'm supposed to be the Australian who's supposed to be getting those videos, and you trump me, and I look like a goose. I look like an absolute goose.
There is no competition.
Now that you're on my channel, you're, okay. Cross your fingers. Do that. Yeah. You too, Steve, for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Thou shalt give Norman all copies of all videos when thou shalt get them. Correct?
Okay. Yeah.
Is that a promise?
Yeah. Gotcha. Roger that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Collaboration.
If you're going to be,
absolutely.
I've entertained you on my show. I've never seen you before. Now you're here. So where are you exactly?
I am in Odisha. If you know, there is a stadium called Parabati Stadium. You must have heard the name of it. There was a fast bowler called Debashish Mohanty, Shiv Sundar Das, if you remember. He played in that test match, 2001 test match against Australia, where Harbhajan Singh picked up a lot of wickets in Calcutta. It's a near state of Kolkata. Yeah, so I'm there and I was staying in Delhi for some time. You must have heard of Delhi, yeah. So
you're talking to Norman here. You should, if you've been following my channel, I know more about India than you do.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a regular viewer of Norman. I always ask questions about Cricket Australia, about all over the world, and he has the answers. I mean, sometimes I feel that he's always onto it, and he does live for 2 hours, and I mean, he's talking all the time. So, and I'm quite surprised to see a person who talks like, I mean, it's a marathon. Yeah.
He never runs out of anything. Never runs out of things to say either. He's always got something, and he's good. He's great at cricket, man, and also likes a bit of rugby league like myself.
Let's get this clear, both of you. Steve Maven now. I'm keeping your pronunciations. Keep reminding me your pronunciation. What's your pronunciation again? Your name?
Yeah, Steve Maven, Mavo, yeah.
Not you, Steve. What's your pronunciation? Is it Goban? Your pronunciation.
Okay,
what's
my pronunciation? It's
pronunciation.
Soban Ganik.
Soban Ganik. Okay, now Soban. Do you know who Steve Maven is?
I think he's an AFL expert.
Yeah, well, kind of.
Close.
Close.
Rugby league.
Rugby league. Now, behind him, there's a man. There's more in this. That's Adam Reynolds. He plays for the South Sydney Rabbitohs, which is a rugby league side. Okay?
Yes.
And Steve Maiden is a legendary player. Not last year, a few years back now. Back in 1989.
A couple of years ago.
Yep. And Steve, I thought Steve was famous for dropping the ball over the line. In fact, it wasn't over the line. He dived. He's a very, very famous winger for the rugby league side. So not Aussie rules, AFL, but NRL, which is rugby league. So that's where it is. Okay. So let me know. So and
yeah, man. So I've also got a YouTube channel, Rabbitohs Radio, and I'm collaborating with Norman, and he's trying to help me grow my channel. And I imagine you've got a good one too. Maybe I can get involved with you and subscribe to yours and share some of your stuff.
I think, Steve, I watched your video with Norman yesterday. There was a 6-minute clip, and you were talking about some of the players who played in. I think Mike Whitney. You mentioned Mike Whitney playing in
Michael Whitney
NFL and cricket. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that's right. So he loves the Rabbitohs too.
You go for
KKR. I'm a K. I am. Yes, I love KKR, and I follow Pat Cummins, and there you go. So there you go.
Is a KKR shirt.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. I know the emblem. I have seen that emblem before, and they actually won as you know, they won the IPL in 2012 and 2014, and the Rabbitohs actually won their first competition for 43 years in 2014. So that was when I sort of started following them because we had success in the same year, and I do love the IPL. It's 2020 cricket. It's exploded in popularity. Like I grew up watching Test cricket, and that's all we had. And then the one day cricket came in, 50 overs a side, and then that was the staple for years and years. But now this 2020 thing, it's sort of surpassed them all, I think, in popularity.
That's right.
Steve and Norman, I have a question for you. Do you think the Cricket Australia increasing the games in BBL, is it decreasing the popularity and the entertainment factor in Australia because of more games? The entertainment factor is going down in the BBL.
I would say so. I would definitely say so. Yes. In fact, we're playing too many. I mean, it's the same thing goes with the IPL. I think if they go beyond the 60 games they've got for the IPL, they're going to be in some danger as well, because the IPL will have 2 extra sides, Pune and probably Gujarat. Next year's the possibility, because Gujarat has Ahmedabad Stadium, of course. If those 2 teams join the existing teams, it could mean too many matches. All right, before we go on, guys, I'm just going to let Munchie's one of our regular, members joining us. Makes sense. Okay, so I've sent your hat to Chris. So Trent Bolt is not playing for the Kiwis, so that will weaken them. Now, actually, Trent Bolt is not even in England. He's still in New Zealand. Yeah, he's yet to even attempt to arrive, which is a bit.
Apparently, he arrives on. Apparently, they're at full strength, except he'll arrive on Friday, so he won't be playing. But after that, he'll be there for probably the second test. But what about this Kyle Jamieson for the Kiwis? He's 6'8". Will he be playing tonight?
You would hope so. I mean, he's almost as tall as Samson was today. He was 6'9".
Yeah.
So we're going to release a video today or tomorrow with another collaborator, Sri Harsha Cricket. We're going to deliver a video which will be specifically on Street Talk as we talk at Coogee, which he would have said. And we're going to be featuring a man called Samson. What was his last name?
Samson Ryan from the
Ryan, who's 6'9", and he plays AFL. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, he plays for the Richmond Tigers. He hasn't actually played top level yet. He was just drafted last year. But yeah, he's a giant of a kid, and he knows his cricket too. We chatted to him about cricket, and he had his opinions. I think he tipped India to win the World Test final. And then you got a nice from Munchie said there, we're shooting now. Those best of luck staying up tonight.
So Munchie,
there you go. But
we'll be on later. Munchie. We'll be on for the post review as well, so you can join us then.
And also my co-host on Rabbitohs Radio, he's a Delhi Capitals man, and he loves Rishabh Pant, and and you probably do as well, because he's a bit of a national hero, and we talked about it before, but in the Test match at the Gabba, when the famous Test match when India have never beaten Australia, and there was a 300 and something run chase in the last innings, and that never gets done in a Test match. But Rishabh Pant just went berserk, and he's a fair player, isn't he? He's a superstar on the rise, and he's going to be your man to carry the side in this big game coming up on the 18th of June.
Yeah,
But he doesn't play for the Kolkata Knight Riders.
No, I'm just saying he played for the Delhi Capitals because my
No, I know. I'm just joking. He's not playing for your side, though, unfortunately.
I wish he did. Yeah.
Steve and Norman, do you think the standard of pitches in Australia has gone down? Because early on, when we have seen cricket in Australia in 1990s and in early 2000, the pitches were different. It was bouncy. If you go to Adelaide, it used to spin. But now it's much more of a flat. Do you think that is because the multi-purpose stadium, it has been used for different sports? That's why the standard of the pitches has gone down in Australia. The intimidating factor.
I would argue. Well, the only I think there's one, maybe two actual pitches that are actual real pitches. They're not drop-ins. Okay, the SCG is still a bulleye soil real turf wicket. It gets played over. It doesn't actually get taken in or out. But virtually all the other grounds have drop-in pitches, which does make them somewhat flatter. With the Gabba, though, the interesting thing with the Gabba, that match was played much later in the season. It was actually played January, when it was normally a game was played in November or maybe early December, but generally November. So when a Gabba Test match is played early in November, it's much more of a greener top. It's much bouncier and faster. So that's the real reason. This time around, or early this year, it was played in January, which was a time when the wicket was actually worn and wasn't as bouncy and therefore lacked that zest as we would expect. So it was the timing of the wicket more than the overuse of it. You'll find that the Gabba's returned to being one of the early test matches, and you'll see that it'll be differently back to its bouncy best. I think also Perth has gone, in fact, this is for the Ashes series. You've got Afghanistan they're playing against first in Hobart, I believe, which is a rare double. The first against Afghanistan, the first time in Hobart, and also Tim Payne playing on his home ground. So a triple whammy. Then you'll move to the likes of the Gabba, Adelaide, MCG, SCG. Now, normally SCG is the fifth test, but in fact it's the fourth. The fifth test will in fact be in Western Australia, which is very unusual.
Wacker.
That'll again create a precedent. It's not going to be on the old Wacker, which was again a bouncy fast pitch. It's on Telstra Stadium now. I think it's called Telstra Stadium, and that actually is a brand new drop-in wicket, which I'm not a big fan of, to be honest. So that's my thoughts. So I don't know.
Are you a greenkeeper? Are you a greenkeeper, Norman? Because you're a real expert on all things grass and pitches. It was a good question to ask you because, gee, I didn't expect all of that. I just know the SCG always turns for spinners, and then the last few days it's bring on Shane Warne and the old spinners and to turn them on. Stuart McGill, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, good old Nathan Lyon, who I know very well, and his brother Brendan.
Nathan Lyon.
Nathan Lyon's brother Brendan, who's a great cricket coach himself, and a guy called Dylan. I remember a few years ago, I got Dylan, a mate of Nathan Lyon, to bowl Nathan Lyon in the nets at the SCG, and Nathan had no idea. The funny thing was, Dylan, this guy that I got to bowl, was actually a landscaper, and he was meant to be in Nathan Lyon's backyard, doing his backyard. Nathan's batting him there at a test match. He looks up, and there's Dylan running into him. And he goes, "How the hell are you here? You should be at my bloody backyard." And Dylan said, "Blame Norman because he got me to bowl." And we did that deliberately. A guy called Jacob Boyle and we know Nathan Brendan, and we did as a bit of a G-up. We got Dylan, who's 6 foot something, to bowl to Nathan in the next when he was supposed to be in his backyard. So funny. Anyway.
I've got a story about someone bowling in the nets, and it's just off topic a bit. But I went to Russell Crowe's farm at Nana Glen at Coffs Harbour. Anyway, we go there with the team, and we
explain who Russell Crowe is.
Russell Crowe is, gladiator, superstar, movie star, and he actually owns the Rabbitohs, the South Sydney Rabbitohs. So he's an owner of the club. So we went there and we went to his farm, and we go down. He's got his own cricket oval, and we drove down to the nets. And here's Steve Waugh in the nets having a bat. So I have a bowl to Steve Waugh and have a few bowls. I'll never forget that. I couldn't believe it.
You had a bowl.
I had a bowl to Steve Waugh. I didn't get it. I had a bowl to Steve Waugh in the nets, and then you wouldn't believe, a guy called Cliffy Lyons, who's a rugby league legend. He was there as well, and he's standing there. And at this stage, he hadn't had a bat. He hadn't had a bowl. And I said, "Cliffy," that's Steve Waugh in the nets. How are you going to have a bowl to him? He goes, "All right, give me the ball." Runs in, he bowls out Steve Waugh first ball. So he quite enjoyed that. No, I'm not kidding. He actually did that. And I don't know if Steve Waugh let him or whatever, but yes, because he's a freakish talent, Cliffy Lyons. He could have probably been a cricketer. He was that good. But, yeah, that's my Steve Waugh. And then later on, I got to know Steve Waugh. We went and had dinner in a function, and it turns out he's a tremendous guy, an absolute legend of the game, and he's gave me one of his books. It's a really thick book, and he wrote all the text, and he took all the pictures. And, yeah, so Steve Waugh, champion guy, even though he follows another team in the rugby league, he's a Bulldog man, him and his brother Mark. But they are two legends of the game in cricket, and that's my favourite cricket story.
And it's great when someone like Steve Waugh gets in the nets with some lame ducks. I would have thought facing Steve Maven and bloody Cliff Lyons would have been an easy day for him, but he got him out.
Yes. Well, Cliffy did. I didn't, but yeah. But I was a bit of an all-rounder back in the day. So, I'm a fast bowler, but I do love a turning because I used to love playing cricket in the backyard with my brother. And, you know, turning the ball out of the back of the hand, there's nothing better than getting it to hit the wicket and then just go off like the off spin, you know. But and then also and spinning it the other way, the leg spin. So I do.
That's leg spin. What are you doing? That's leg spin.
Well, out of the back of the hands. Well, there you go. Well, I am a rugby league player, but I loved spinning the ball. But I was always I love cricket, an all rounder, but I never actually got to play in any grade cricket or anything. I just always loved playing the game, and hitting the ball over the fence would be 6 and out. And if we run out of balls, we'd get lemons off the tree and use them to bat with. So just whatever. What about you? You guys play? Did you guys play the game?
I was going to say, did you say you bowled lemons or you got lemons from the tree? What did you do?
Well, a bit of both. So leg spin, off spin. I thought it was the other way. I don't know why I thought that, but anyway, that's yeah. But getting the ball out of the back, then hit the pitch, and then spin across. There's nothing better, and it's a very hard delivery to do. But you know, so
yeah, Cameron White did it.
Yeah, there you go. So are we going to talk about the upcoming World Test Championship final, and that's a historic game. And it's going to be played at the Ageas Bowl in Southampton in June 18th.
Exactly. And that's also called the Rose Bowl as well as another term it goes by. So it's both called Ageas, which is a sponsor, or Rose Bowl, or in fact, Southampton Ground. Now, before
the Rose Bowl is quite a famous NFL game in college game in America, but that's another sport altogether. I do like college.
Rose Bowl.
The Rose Bowl is a huge game over there, and it's like their Super Bowl of college. But anyway, it's another. I do like my college and my NFL. But so all sports. We talk all sports here on your show, Norman.
We do. I mean, you've got Adam Reynolds. The man behind Steve Maven is Adam Reynolds, who's our halfback, a bit like a quarterback in AFL. Not AFL. What's it called? Gridiron. I'll call it gridiron. Okay.
Gridiron,
now
NFL.
Today, let's go back to we're due for a toss. It should be any minute now that we should see a toss occurring. Have you guys got any evidence of a toss yet?
I think at 3 o'clock. I think 3 o'clock Indian time. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's 7:30. Now the game actually starts in. What time does the game start? It starts at 10 a.m., which is in fact 10 a.m. their time, which is actually 7 p.m. our time, which is 2:30 your time. Correct?
3:30.
Really?
3:30. Yeah. 3:30 p.m.
Okay. Well, so that's when the toss will be, and that's when the game starts.
The game starts. The toss will be at 3 o'clock, 3 p.m.
Which is basically now 7:30. We've got a bit of time away. All right. So the toss will come a bit later than expected. It's about half an hour later than expected there, Steve. So we'll have a slightly longer show here. The reality is, let's just get back to the test selections for a moment. Now, it's been pretty well documented. We've got someone joining us now, by the way. Let me see who this is. Oh, here we go. Chris Vernon has turned up from. Oh, he's on the train there. Look at Chris Vernon.
Well, I'm in a black cab.
You're in a black cab now.
From my friend John, who's a follower of the stream.
Morning, Norm.
How are you, Johnny? Have you been making comments?
I'm all right.
I'm trying.
Hello, boys.
How you doing, guys?
Hey, Chris.
Good.
So, Chris, yes. Chris Vernon, let me introduce Steve Maven above you. Now, Steve Maven played rugby league.
G'day, mate.
Guess who? Guess who he played rugby league for, Chris?
The Rabbits.
Rabbitohs.
Rabbitohs.
Steve, get on them. Don't let him call your team the
Well,
Rabbitohs.
I'm not as stringent on that. We are the Rabbits. We're the Bunnies. We're the mighty Rabbitohs. We are South Sydney, but yeah, it's you can tell by the red and green that I did play for that mighty club. The greatest. We've won 21 premierships. We've won the most of anyone in the rugby league history of Australia. But yeah, and I have played over in England as well. I played second division over there for a team called Trafford Borough, and lived in Altrincham, just near Manchester, and had a ball there. Had a great time. That was in 1990. Yeah, that was a long time ago. But yeah, I'd love to go back soon.
So okay, Chris. So Steve was a winger playing for the Rabbitohs. He was the first person to dive like a gazelle into the air and land when the ball would, when you score a try, as you in rugby. So also, Chris, we've got a man who's joined us called Soban. He is actually, have you seen the videos from That Cricket Guy? It's a very famous YouTube channel called That Cricket Guy.
No,
have
but
you seen that, Chris?
Follow. I haven't seen it, no, but I will.
Okay, you'll be seeing it now. So Soban has joined us as well. David Graveney was with us a short while ago, but he was in a car going along the highway. We lost volume with him a bit, so we lost it. So, Chris, come on, show off your clothing.
Just a blazer. It's actually, surprisingly, it's actually really warm today, so a blazer will be coming off soon, hopefully. But we're just probably half a mile from Lords now, I think, so we're getting there soon.
Okay.
Yep, the egg and bacon tie there.
Have you seen, Chris, have a look
egg and bacon tie?
Chris,
egg and bacon tie,
Thomas about a hat.
Yeah. On the red. On the Reds, the boys.
Yeah. John's got the Prosecco.
Yeah, nice.
John, get in shot. Get in shot, John.
Get in shot, John.
How are we? All right.
Good,
mate.
You're an avid follower of the program. I know that.
Yeah, try and watch what I can. Yeah.
Oh, you don't watch it. You don't watch what. You don't watch when Chris is on, I hope.
Well, I try not to. I see enough of him, to be honest.
I bet you do. Do you play for Seven Oaks and Vine?
Yeah, with him.
You do?
He's a league legend, John.
What about you? Do you play for them?
Yeah, we both play. So we both bat in the top three.
Oh,
right.
There you go.
So what's your highest score of the season, John?
Try to score the season.
51.
51, not bad.
Oh, there you go.
Not great.
We've only
Raise the
played
bat.
4 games, and the game on Saturday was the first one that hasn't been rain affected. The first 3 were all reduced overs. Duckworth Lewis. We've had one of the wettest Mays I can ever remember. So finally, some sunny weather.
Was it raining yesterday?
No, we've had lovely weather the last 2 days. I was saying it's really hot. I think it's 23, 24. So everyone's getting burnt in England at the early 20s.
So wait a minute. Now, Sabon was telling me, I thought the game was starting it's not starting at 10 a.m., is it? It's starting at 10:30, is that right?
11 o'clock, I think, the start time is. So, yeah,
we've
hour
got
and a
that
half,
wrong.
about
I've
hour
got
and
that
20
wrong.
minutes.
So it's 11 o'clock start each state, is it? Okay.
I think so, yeah.
All right. So the toss as well. We've got a long way to go before the toss happens, haven't we?
What? Hour before.
Well,
hour before.
No.
So we've got 20 minutes, I thought.
Is it an hour or half an hour? An hour, is it?
I think it's an hour, so 15 minutes to toss, I imagine. Hopefully we'll
Okay,
get there.
we'll be on to that. All right. So Munchie was on for a while. Munchie had to go. Okay.
Yep.
David Graveney he was in the car. We got a few minutes from him, and then he had
Is he
to go
coming
off
to the
the
test
car.
as well, or is he?
Yeah, he's coming. He'll be there.
Nice.
You'll see.
I'll give him a
So
message.
what your job is, Chris, is to get a hold of David. Get a hold of David somewhere in the ground at some stage.
I'll try. They've segregated the ground, so you can't mix between stands because of COVID. The rules have changed since, but I can't mix. So John's in a different stand to me. I'm not allowed to go and sit with him. You have to stay in your
Which,
seat.
to be honest, is a bit of a bonus, really, Norm. Means I get some peace and quiet all day.
John, I sympathise with you. So hang on. I sympathise with you. Now, hang on. Chris, you haven't made one single comment. Chris, look at this. Look at the
I'm
hat.
listening.
Look at the hat.
It's nice, isn't it? Yeah, it's good. I'm
And
looking
you see
forward
the
to one in the post. Yeah, it's
Look,
smart,
you
isn't
see
it?
the- And
Yeah,
then
so
you got.
John-
I'm going to
John
get undressed here a bit.
Look
And
at
then you
the
got
picture.
this.
Lovely.
Oh, lovely.
Looking good.
Now hang on. The big reveal. Look at the big reveal. I'm
That's
wearing a
great,
t-shirt.
mate. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's
I'm
very
wearing a
smart.
t-shirt with your face on it. Look, Chris,
It's,
I'm wearing a t-shirt with your face on.
No, it's brilliant. That's really good. I'm looking forward to my stuff coming in the post.
You're going to get that cup. You're going to get the shirts and everything. So you're going to allocate one to David Graveny.
Yep.
One to your dad or Muncie. Yeah. You work it out.
Awesome.
If you need more, I'll send more, okay?
Yeah,
And
no
we
worries.
might have to send you some. Steve Maven has to organise some Rabbitohs gear next.
Yeah, well, let's maybe a swap deal. I wouldn't mind getting a few of those shirts and hats. And
I'm a Brisbane Broncos fan.
can you send some? The Broncos, the Brisbane Broncos. Yeah, they're a good side. They're not going too well at the moment.
Chris,
the Bunnies are flogging.
The Bunnies.
If you send us anything from the Broncos, we're sending it right back.
It's only because they're the only team I know, and Brendan Favola used to play for them, and he was quite an interesting character. So,
well,
yeah,
that was Brisbane Lions, wasn't it?
I think it might have been Brisbane Lions. He's an AFL player, Brendan Favola, but he's a bit of an Aussie legend. So, yeah.
Oh, we're going to do some cross pollination here. I've sent Chris cups and tops and everything. I'm going to send you some stuff to Steve with caps. Steve's going to send some South gear, and then Sabine, you've got to send a KKR shirt.
KKR.
To Steve Maven.
Yes, 100%. I like one of those. KKR.
This is Virat Kohli. This is RCB.
So you're a KKR man, are you, Sabine?
No, actually not. I'm a RCB fan. Virat Kohli.
thanks, mate. Have a good one.
Oh, right. Okay.
I do love KKR, but I think the fan following has gone down after maybe the Oinmore captaincy has really raised a lot of eyebrows in the state.
Coming from this side. I don't know how to turn my camera around. I'm just going to show the grey skate.
That's all right, Chris. That's right. So Chris is walking to St John's. Where are you at St John's ground? He's actually at Lord's.
Oh, there you go.
There we got some
So,
Lord's.
Hello, turf.
We've got to get in. So I'm going to go. I'll come back.
But keep the photo on. Keep the phone on.
No, because we've got to go through tests and bag checks.
Yeah, but you can leave it on though. You can leave it on. Leave it on.
I'll come back.
We want to go through the test with you.
We want to be there. So that's amazing.
No, he wasn't doing it.
He'll do it. He'll do it.
So sorry, Sabine. What was that IPL team you were telling me, mate? Because you said it pretty quick and there was a bit of noise. So you're not KKR. Yeah.
No, I was talking about the Royal Challengers Bangalore, which is the team of Virat Kohli, the captain. And there are a lot of Kyle Jamieson. Kyle Jamieson is from RCB, and AB de Villiers from South Africa is also part of this team. So it's a marquee team, but it has never won any championship. That's why people don't talk about it. It's like always under the radar. It's like Liverpool. And but a lot of fans, 70% of the fans support RCB because of the passion and because of the quality cricket and the star players they have in the team. So I think
Kyle Jamieson. Send one of those. That'd be nice. But Kyle Jamieson, he's a star in the IPL.
Yeah. $2.86 million.
Wow. Yeah.
$2.86 million.
How much did you see when you played your first rugby league match?
My first contract was $20,000, I think, back in the day. So it's come a long way. Sports payments.
Was it 5 years or 10 years?
No, it was only for the first year. It went up a bit after that, but yeah, back in the day, I missed out before rugby league became fully professional, and cricket wasn't professional back then. It was all just you'd have to work a job and play sport on the weekend. But how times have changed. Yeah, these IPL millionaires and Australian cricketers are on huge money. And Pat Cummins, what's he on? Is he on a bigger contract than that even for KKR?
Yeah. I think he's in the same $2.8 million, $2.85 million. Yeah.
Wow. There you go. So that just goes to show how good this
house. He bought a $9.5 million house up the road from me, which we're going to go to tomorrow. Steve, you and I, we're going to make a trip to Pat Cummins' house.
Yes, we will. Are we going to stalk him? Are we stalking him, or are we just going to go knock on his door?
There might be a bit of stalking going on. We might stalk him a little bit.
Yeah, because I believe he's not going back for the restart of the IPL season because, and I don't know, there might be a bit of controversy on that because he's getting so much money, but you can't blame someone who's worried about his health and this COVID disaster, can you really?
So what are KKR going to do? They've lost. Owen Morgan's not going back.
No.
Pat Cummins not going back. Who's going to captain? Back to Hart?
I think maybe they will go back to Dinesh Karthik. Yeah. Subman Gill, maybe outside selection. Subman Gill or Dinesh Karthik. I think they will replace Patrick Cummins with Lockie Ferguson from New Zealand. And I think, Owen Morgan will be replaced by Dean Seifert. He is also coming in.
Right.
Is that Captain Morgan? Captain Morgan. I do like a Captain Morgan's. Yeah, he's a good player too.
You drink Captain Morgan. You don't watch Captain Morgan.
I think Owen Morgan. He's got the Order of the British Empire or something, hasn't he? He's quite a renowned gentleman, isn't he?
He certainly is. He was involved. I can hear. I think it was at a cab I heard. Okay, the fact is that he played for Ireland as well as England now. He's somebody who, to be honest with you, KKR have not done that well in the first 29 matches of the IPL, and Owen Morgan was looked at as possibly being shunted from the captaincy, and Dinesh Karthik would come back. That was the thought anyway. So Owen Morgan's not going. Pat Cummins, KKR in that limbo land of that middle part of the comp. You've got Delhi Capitals, you've got, certainly Mumbai Indians, and then you've got Royal Challengers Bangalore, the three top sides, and throw in Chennai Super Kings. They're your top four. And then the last four, a bit of a gap. You've got the likes of KKR, you've got, Punjab Kings, of course, and there's a lot of Sunrisers Hyderabad. Oh, my God, what a mess that is. They've got a bit of a mess going on as well. There's been a lot of players not playing in the UAE. The grounds will be a lot more evenly poised. The grounds will be a lot more equal. There's not enough spin there. It'll be quite a different story, actually. It's going to be... And Steve, you're going to join us for the IPL, aren't you?
I am indeed, and I don't think Delhi Capitals have won it before, have they? So they'd be high hopes for them to finally get one. With obviously Rishabh Pant knocking sixes all over the ground and attacking the bowling, then you'd have to think that with a guy like that, they've got to be a chance of their first title.
And you have the Prince of Tasmania, Ricky Ponting, coaching the head coach of Delhi Capitals. Yeah,
there you go.
My team's always been Delhi Capitals. All right. Shreya Gayatri here, one of our members. I don't think we're at a subscription level, Stephen, I told you. And above that, we're going to members now. Shreya Gayatri is predicting that both Broad and Anderson can swing aggressive at Lords. They will be both playing. Manu John's another one. UAE doesn't do well. CSK won't do well in UK and UAE. And DC is the best team. I have to agree with that. I think it could well firm that Delhi Capitals are a big chance.
Yeah, there you go. They get on them to win, and so there is a lot of weight on the shoulders of Broad and Anderson tonight because one of their other bowlers is out. So there's some bit more weight on their shoulders to get it done.
Absolutely.
Norman, you must have heard about Ollie Robinson, the new rookie fast bowler. And have you heard his statements about Kane Williamson, about New Zealand? And he was sacked by Sussex at the age of 20 in the county cricket. So are you expecting high things from him, Ollie Robinson, the new fast bowler?
Well, he's apparently he's been playing really well up to this point. He's fought his way into the side. So just quickly give you a bit of my take on the England side, because we're going to be hearing more about the actual team very shortly. In fact, let me have a look here. It's okay. What we talked about before, obviously James Bracey will make his Test debut. Devin Conway will make his debut as well. Opening the batting alongside Tom Latham. And that's certainly going to be an interesting selection comparison. So let's go back to the England side. England side, I think my prediction is what it looks like it's going to happen. Sibley and Rory Burns will continue to open the partnership. Zach Crawley will be first drop. Joe Root will be 4. Then you'll have Ollie Pope potentially next, followed by Lawrence. Then you've got Bracey. Then Ollie Robinson, who can actually also bat. He's not just a bowler, he's also a batter. You'll have Broad and Anderson both on together. Then you'll have potentially, the toss-up between Mark Wood and perhaps Ollie Stone. Sorry?
Jack Leach is also in there. Jack
And Jack Leach is the spin bowler. That'll be the 11, I'd say. It's pretty conclusive at this point. The New Zealand team, Devin Conway, as I think, Steve, you mentioned earlier, didn't you, Steve? You mentioned Devin Conway. Interesting that he's going to be opening because he's normally been batting down the orders somewhat. He and Latham will open. But then they've got the Ross Taylors. They've got Kane Willis will go first. The Ross Taylor. And they've got Elliott
Henry
as well
Nichols.
there. They've got
Henry Nichols.
And Nichols, of course, Nichols as well. The bowling, well, I mean, they're without Trent Bolt. I mean, Watling is in the side.
Number 6, Watling. Number 7, Colin de Grandhomme or Darren Mitchell. Number 8, Kyle Jemison. Number 19, Saudi. Number 10, Matt Henry. Number 11 will be Neil Wagner.
I think so. I think it's a good side that you just get. But I like Colin de Grandhomme. Sorry, go on, Steve.
Yep.
Oh, so now because you mentioned Devin Conway opening, and yes, so he has been blazing a lot of hundreds in one-day cricket, and so he's forced his way into that top of the order, and it's going to be exciting to see if he actually opens the batting, how that pans out. A bloke on debut at Lords for the Kiwis versus England. Does it get any better? It's a huge thing, and the whole weight of the Kiwi nation will be on his shoulders. You'd want to get runs, wouldn't you? First up.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, he did play in one of the limited over fixtures. He batted really well as well.
Yeah, against Bangladesh.
Against Bangladesh, that's correct.
And Steve, the good thing for him is he's 29 years of age. He's experienced. He has played in South Africa in bouncy wickets. For the Highfield Lions in Johannesburg, and he has come back to New Zealand and he has played for Wellington, average of 47, and he has totally punched his way, and he's really looking phenomenal as a left-hander. He has that elegance and grace, so he can perform under pressure. Yeah.
Well, that's quite rare that a 29-year-old will debut, isn't it? Like at that late age. Usually they're in their early 20s, or so that's better late than never story, isn't it? It'd be a great story if he comes out and succeeds.
Well, having come from South Africa, of course, to New Zealand, that's one of the reasons. I think he had to qualify to be a New Zealander before he could even be selected. So that was, I think he was years in limbo waiting for that to happen. This looks really interesting. I best just take a step back here and look at the situation. This is the first match of the entire summer series in England. We've got these 2 test matches against New Zealand with the World Test Championship following India versus New Zealand. Then a series of test matches with India and England. But I think more interesting than that even is the reality of players that are playing in these tournaments, such as Anderson and Broad. Are they into their last series? Are they going to play this summer out? Are they going to continue on to the Ashes? Is question number 1. Question number 2, are we seeing the last of some of the Watling is certainly coming to an end of his career. Is this his last test match? I think these 2 are his last test matches before he retires as a keeper. Yeah. And then even India, there may be some players in that makeup that may be on their last series as well. We'll see how that turns out. I mean, I would say Ishant Sharma will certainly be on his last series. Yeah. Will we see some of those other Indian players? Now, Rohit Sharma and the like have still got a few seasons left for them, so we'll probably see them again. But there'll be some players that'll be in their last series. Ridhaman Saha, the Indian, now backup keeper, is on the tour, is he not, Saban?
He's there in the tour. Yeah. He's there. Yeah. Backup keeper. Yeah.
And there's no suggestion that Kohli's. There's no suggestion Kohli's getting on, is it? I think he's in his early 30s. He's got a few more years left in him, has he?
You betcha Sweet Patuski's got a few seasons out of him. All right.
You want him to bat till he's about 40, 44 years, 45 years old or something, wouldn't you? You never want him to go. Vera.
Yeah. It's Darren Stevens, dominant. Darren Stevens scored that 194 not out. Have you heard about Darren Stevens?
Yes, amazing. He's 45 plus. He both bats and bowls in English county cricket. Now, there's a few guys who haven't met Steve. You met Darren.
Wasn't he on Bewitched? Wasn't Darren Stevens on Bewitched?
Yeah, but that was a different Darren Stevens, right?
Different Darren Stevens, yeah, okay.
Different age group too. Darren Stevens will be 70 in the shade.
Sorry.
It's a bit like Darren Brown. He's about 70 in Australia, isn't he? No,
Darren Brown, yeah. Rabbitohs Radio.
Is Darren Brown watching this? I wonder whether Darren Brown's watching.
Oh, I hope he is. I think he's at work at the moment, but we've just updated our channel to be called Rabbitohs TV now. So look out for Rabbitohs TV to take over the world, the subcontinent. Look out for us, and we want all of India to love the Rabbitohs like we love some of the cricket teams there, like KKR and the Delhi.
Steve, I'll share the link with my.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Cricket guy, you need Saban. You are now officially, and there's no excuses. You are to promote on that cricket guy your channel one rugby league team that is called the
Rabbitohs.
No,
the Rabbitohs. That's it. Yeah, the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Yeah, the Rabbitohs, the rabbit. Look at that. See that behind? Look at that Rabbitoh there. That's it. There it is. The rabbit there. That's what we are. We are the Rabbitohs, and we are the pride of the league. We've won the most premierships, and we just think that. Like I was talking to Norman about this before, that a lot of sports fans around the world, like a lot of Aussies, they love the Chicago Bulls or they love the Everton Toffees, and they've got all these different, the Toronto Raptors, and so it's why not Indian fans like the Rabbitohs and put them as a part of this world culture of loving sports, because we're a global now. Everything's on the internet and you can stream games, and we've got a fan in America that discovered us during COVID. Oh, go the Bunnies, go on the Bunnies. Thank you, Munchie. So we discovered
Munchie's in England.
There you go. So we actually discovered during COVID a guy in America discovered us because he was watching rugby league, because rugby league is one of the first sports to restart after this COVID crisis. And so there was no sport in America, and a friend of ours, he found the show and he discovered rugby league, and the rest is history. So let's hope that can continue growing our sport. But yeah, I like talking about all sports, not just cricket or rugby league or NFL. I'm open to all. I like a bit of surfing. My co-host on Rabbitohs Radio, Grant Chappell, he's a bra boy and he's a surfer, and all the guys at work they're always got their phones looking at the surf at the different places in all over. So hello to Quinton de Kock.
So Quinton de Kock's just taken the day for playing for South Africa and playing for his IPL team. Who's he play for? Mumbai Indians.
Mumbai Indians, yeah.
It's obviously not. It's obviously not Quinton de Kock. I can assure you, it's not. Okay.
You never know.
Oh, you never know. All right, now just quickly, at before the game, both teams will take part in what they call a moment of unity, and that will be on the boundary right before the start of the morning's play. A wider commitment to combat issues around inclusion within the game. The MCC have announced that key workers will be ringing the 5-minute bell this week, with Colin, Hannah, Benji, and Georgina Ingram Moore, family members of the late Captain Tom, due to do this morning. So it's a rather special day as well in England. For that, it's very well noted. So the last time New Zealand played a test match at Lords was when? 2015.
Yeah. But
the last time they played at an ICC, the final, which they effectively drew but lost, was in 2019. And I was actually there for that. I was in the boundary rope watching that match. England beat New Zealand. Let's hope this time the World Test Championship, New Zealand make a better account for themselves. We'll wait and see. So
is that the famous? Is that the famous? That's not the World Cup final you're talking about when it was drawn after 50. Oh, so you were at that game, that historic game?
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
I was
and
there.
And they're asking, they're asking the Kiwis about that. Is there going to be some bad blood about that? And they were saying no, but it was a gut-wrenching finish to a massive game, wasn't it?
It was disgraceful, really. It shouldn't have ended that way, honestly. New Zealand deserved to win, but okay, England won, fair enough. But the reality was it was a very bizarre way to win that match. On that day, I was with Monty Panesar and two lovely ladies called Lena and Rena Dutta. They joined us. If Lena and Rena are watching, I hope you're there. You were there with us on that day. Yep. I don't forget that. On the day before, I was at the Wimbledon Women's Final, where good old Serena Williams played Simona Halep. And I had front row tickets, Stevens on. I was in the front row watching it. Brilliant day.
You get around, don't you? You go to all these big sporting events. Norman Kosciuszek from Eyes on Cricket, Eyes on Tennis, Eyes on Rugby League. You've got eyes all over the world and all over the place, haven't you?
Some say I've got eyes on women as well, but that's another story. We won't go to
that. No. I have had some stories.
Good Norman.
Yeah.
Naman and Steve, I wanted to ask you, if suppose New Zealand beats India in the WTC final, do you think the New Zealand public will love Black Caps than the All Blacks? Like, do you think that will happen? If New Zealand, what will be the impact of WTC final if New Zealand wins?
Well, I'll answer that. Look, the All Blacks are like they're like God in New Zealand, and the Black Caps I don't think will ever be able to replace it or be held in the same esteem. But having said that, yes, New Zealand love it. Look, they're a bit like the Aussies. They love a sporting hero, and if the Kiwis are winning, then obviously that nation will get behind them. And that brings me to another point: is there an advantage against India that New Zealand is playing 2 tests in England for this World Test final? So does that mean that they have a little bit of an advantage over India, who aren't going to get that Test match practice in where the game's going to be held?
Well, you'd have to think so, Steve. You'd have to think that the fact that New Zealand are getting 2 matches to play, they've got a better chance to win that. I'll give them the runs on the board that the practice, although Trent Bolt's not there. Now, we're just being joined by Himanshu Chowdhury. How are you? He's a well-known regular for our show. Good to see you again.
Hello, mate.
Hey.
Hello, Himanshu. How you going?
Okay, so
like all the comments.
Returned. New Zealand were also training at Southampton before Lords. Exactly. So New Zealand have been living and breathing Southampton Stadium, practicing on the wicket, playing 2 matches against England. They're in the box seat, you would think. But look, don't discount an Indian team, though, Steve. We must remember that.
Hello, how much? And I've just realised I didn't have the comments up here, and I've just missed a whole lot of comments. And someone said who's making their debut, and we'll just comment on that because we missed it before. James Bracey's going to debut for England tonight. He's going to take the gloves, and also Devin Conway is going to debut for the Kiwis. So 2 debutants tonight, making a bit of interest in it. And someone just commented about Russell Crowe, and yes, Russell Crowe is really everyone in the world's heard of Russell, and his movie Gladiator was a worldwide sensation. But yes, he's a great guy, and he supports rugby league, and so he grew up loving rugby league. But he's also a Kiwi, and he was related to the great Martin Crowe, who was a great Kiwi batsman as well. So there you go, if those that didn't know that. And Fursey's saying, Norman, please post those Wimbledon pics as a Halep fan.
I will.
I've got some pics.
I have.
Please do that.
They're on Facebook, but I'll get them. I'll pull them up from my Facebook. Okay, now, so I want to know from you, have you heard of Russell Crowe? Do you know who Russell Crowe is?
I've heard about Martin Crowe, Jeff Crowe, but Russell Crowe I can recall, but I'm not getting it's not.
Oh, Steve, you go ahead. You explain who Russell Crowe is.
Yeah.
Oh well, he shot to fame in Gladiator and
a movie.
It's what's Gladiator the movie? It's been about 20 years since that movie's been out. So you're only a young guy, you maybe don't know that. But what's the famous line from that? Let's unleash hell. Let's unleash hell. And it was an iconic show but then he starred in a whole heap of other movies that I can't really think of at the moment. But
he won an Academy Award for that. For Best Actor.
He did.
So he's a Hollywood
Best
star.
Actor.
He's Australian.
There you go.
Well, actually, he was born in New Zealand. He's cousins to Martin and Jeff Crowe. He's a cousin to those guys.
Yep.
But effectively,
we claim him as our...
Australian.
Because he spent most of his time in Australia, and he's starred in a lot of Australian movies and international smash hits, and obviously an Oscar winner. And we do that sometimes. We claim Aussies as our own. And I think he's been in Australia for a long time. He went to school at Randwick and he grew up a South Sydney Rabbitohs supporter, but so maybe he's got dual citizenship, the great Russell Crowe. But so what bowling combination should India play in the WTC final? That comes from Birajami Dekar.
Well, I would have to. I mean, Ishant Sharma. Well, it's almost no one really. Bumrah will get a go. Ishant Sharma is going to be in there. Sharmi, if fit, will be there as well. Potentially Siraj, maybe in there as well. Umesh Yadav is on tour. He could be in the mix, but I don't think he'll get a go. I think Siraj, as you know, Steve, in Adelaide, he was the only bowler standing after they lost so many of their bowlers, and he literally got. We talk about Rishabh Pant getting a magnificent score to win the match, but Siraj took 5 wickets in that last innings. 5 wickets.
Wow! What an amazing series that was. Wasn't it, Saban? What an amazing series that was. You obviously would have followed it closely from from at home in India, and the Indian nation were cheering them on. But we had that series to win, the Aussies, didn't we? And we just couldn't get it done.
And Steve, Norman was talking about Siraj. I just wanted to add on. Siraj had no money when he grew up in India. He had no money. He had he had no place to live. His father was a tuk-tuk driver, rickshaw driver, and his father wanted him to play for India. And when he became a cricketer, his father died recently. So it's just kind of.
He missed that. It's terrible.
Wow. Yeah. So he came from poverty to this rich superstar cricketer. So that's an amazing story that, that's probably happens quite a lot in the subcontinent because, depending on what demographic you're from. And someone in here has said, Ashim Mishra said, with all due respect, Devin Conway will be a complete flop in the test matches. So obviously got an opinion there on Devin Conway, but unless on debut in a test, but you've scored a lot of runs in the one dayers, but they can be a bit separate. Like sometimes a one-day specialist don't play test match cricket. But if you're hitting a lot of hundreds, you think you're hitting the ball well. You're middling the ball. You're seeing it like we say, seeing it like a basketball. And so I might tend to disagree with that. But everyone can have their opinion. Yeah.
Now, Steve, there's a bit of an insider's joke here. Himanshu Chowdhury has just said that Ramesh Raja, of course, Pakistani commentator, has predicted that Rohit will score 200 in the World Cup TC final. Do you agree? And that was slighted at me because every match in one of the earlier series, I came out with a comment that Rohit Sharma will score 150, and I used to get bagged quite severely for that. Although one day he did do that, and I was very smug. So it's a bit of a dig both at Ramesh Raja, but more so at me. I know Himanshu Chowdhury, you know me very well. That's a comment that's been directed to me, and I take offence. No, I don't. All right. So
now, he might just come out and do that. You never know.
Yeah, he might just do that. Munchie there is the slow rate the series cost the Aussies a place in the World Test. That's probably true. The World Test Championship may have been Australia versus, New Zealand. It could well have been. Anyway, the reality is that's not the case. India are playing New Zealand on June 18th in a 5-day test match. And I'm hoping it's a victory, not a match which is drawn. That would annoy me if it was a match that was drawn. Because who would win? Who would win? Who would win if it was drawn?
Yeah. I think it will be shared. If it's a draw, it will be shared between India and New Zealand.
That's not a result.
Nobody wants that.
That's not a result.
Nobody wants that.
Who wants to share a bloody trophy? What are they going to? They're going to take half of it home to one place. No, that's dumb. I can't stand that. Steve, you've got me started now.
And Ash Rama said, yes, a lot of cricketers have gone from rags to riches. That's why cricket is so important for Indians, a religion. Yeah. And the IPL is also a medium to get rid of poverty. So there you go. Me coming from Australia and never had to deal with poverty in my life, I really do sympathise with that, and I can understand that why that is such a to come from those humble beginnings and to be such a sensational sportsman with all those obstacles in front of you is something to be really admired and stories to be told. So. Yeah, and also just on the game.
Hang on, Steve. You come from upper class botany. Come on.
Yeah. Well, not so much. It's more of working class. I'm more of a blue collar. I come from blue collar. Nah, joking. But I've got a statistic here on Richard Pant, and some of the people are talking about the WTC final. And Richard Pant is a great player. He's averaging 45, but he has yet to prove himself against New Zealand. Has anyone thought of that? Because if you look at his statistics. And this might only mean that he's an up and coming player, but until he actually does that, it remains to be seen. They might have his number, the Kiwis.
It's going to be. Look, everyone is saying statistically, warm-ups, the whole lot. That New Zealand's going to win this based on the 2 matches against England, being at Southampton, blah blah blah. New Zealand's going to win, but don't discount India. Let's not discount India here. Subha, what are we going to say?
I think to answer the question of Steve, that Rishabh Pant, the 2 test matches he played in New Zealand, it was in New Zealand. It was swinging condition, and it was very difficult to bat because New Zealand, I think New Zealand scored around 300 runs in the first innings, and India got out for 170, 180. So that Rishabh Pant was under pressure because he was dropped from the team. He didn't play. He didn't get a go in the one-day series. So that Rishabh Pant was under pressure and lesser confident. But this Rishabh Pant has really reignited and rejuvenated with the game. So currently he is riding high, and he thinks that he can take any bowling attack on, be it let alone New Zealand or England. So I think he is he's free spirited and he can change. But the only weakness is as against Trent Bolt, ball moving away. So if he counters that, I think he can score big in the upcoming WTC.
Now, just a couple of things.
Yeah.
Just breaking news, guys. Breaking news.
Yeah.
James Bracey has just received his test cap from Marcus Trescothick, the opening batsman from yesteryear. So he's officially been anointed with the England cap. Ollie Robinson is about to get his from John Lewis, who was a bowling coach. That means England are unlikely to go in with a frontline spinner. It looks like England are going with a full pace attack, and they will not be bringing in bringing in Leach, and that will probably mean that Joe Root will bowl a bit of spin if needed. So they're going to go with a 4-pronged bowling attack. That will be obviously Broad Anderson. I'm thinking Mark Wood and Ollie Robinson. Okay, and that means that will be a 4-pronged bowling attack of some pace, which I don't think it won't disadvantage New Zealand, to be honest. I don't think New Zealand will be too worried about that. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. The only thing is Trent Bolt would have made a big difference to New Zealand for sure, but he's not playing, as we know.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, Rishabh Pant, you're right, Steve, has not been exposed to New Zealand bowling. But you know what? The Lord's wicket brings out the best in batters. It is traditionally a bowling pitch because of the slant. Glenn McGrath exposed that when he was there. But I would argue that, Rishabh Pant's going to give him a test. That's for the World Test Championship, but not for this particular ground here. They're not yet playing. But I love the amount of interest, Steve and Shaman. The amount of interest is really high on this match. Because why? We're going to expose to England conditions. We're seeing New Zealand play. The significance of how New Zealand play for the match, which will be the third on the calendar, the World Test Championship. Excellent. Are you enjoying this, Steve? Are you enjoying?
I am indeed. I'm liking this because, like I said, we want to do more live stuff on our YouTube channel, and we're going to be talking more rugby league. But I'm happy to talk about cricket because, like I said, I love all sports, and I like the comments because people are saying some stuff. So yeah, like Munchie said that let's see how Rishabh Pant bats in England because he said that Seawag also struggled here. So,
but Steve, he scored in the last tour when Rishabh Pant first toured to England. He scored that 100, and the first ball he faced in Test cricket, he hit 6 to Adil Rashid, the England leg spinner. So he has already scored 100 in England. So he won't be under tremendous pressure, and he will enjoy himself.
Yeah. Well, like Munchie said, good batsmen will thrive on any surface, and isn't that true? So whether you're playing in the subcontinent, or you're playing at the turning wicket at the SCG, or you're playing at Lords on day one of a beautiful sunny day, you just got to go out there and do what you've been doing your whole life and play cricket.
Norman, do you think Rishabh Pant is like Adam Gilchrist?
Now, that's a great.
Yeah, well, I've heard that he's like your Adam Gilchrist. And when you said that about how he's confident, and that's what Adam Gilchrist was. He was a confident batsman. And just looking at some of Pant's highlights, hitting sixes, he hits sixes like Adam Gilchrist. He hits the ball a long, long way, and he just makes great contact.
I've got to correct you there, Steve. Rishabh Pant is not the next Adam Gilchrist. He's the first Rishabh Pant.
Okay. All right.
Remember my words here. He's not the next Adam Gilchrist. He's the first Rishabh Pant because it's
hard to compare eras. Yeah, it is. It's hard to compare eras. And you always think about, when you think of great wicketkeeper batsman, who do you think of? Maybe Rodney Marsh back in the day for Australia. But Adam Gilchrist, like Ian Healy. Ian Healy could bat as well. But But I'm thinking of all the Aussie ones.
But Adam Gilchrist is number one of the ages. But into a next chapter, another millennium, let's say, it could well be Rishabh Pant. Okay, so we must mark those words. That element of, it's very commonly said. I think Ganguly said, and even Harsha Borgale mentioned about this, and I agree with him. He's not the next Adam Gilchrist. He's the first Rishabh Pant. Mark my words.
Yep.
Okay, I'm just saying hello to Pawan Kumar. Hello, we've got you back. Ashaman Mishra, he's been talking a lot already. Munchie's a perennial. Munchie's getting a cap from me and a cup. These merch. Now, come on, honestly, guys. rating out of 10, Saban. What do you reckon of that hat?
Yeah, that's good.
I
Yeah.
love this. Look at this. Look at that. I'm just full of merchandise. I'm everywhere.
Wow.
There's
Yeah, well, I was on cricket.
I'm everywhere.
There's a bit
There's
of green in the pit.
Yeah. So an Aussie going to pop now. We had Chris Vernon on earlier. You were here when Chris Vernon was on. Now he's busily going into Lords as we speak. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of a sneak peek later from him. So guys who are viewing this every day of the test match, we're going to have a preview and a post review. Now the post review, guys, for us is and where's Alan Mullally, who was supposed to be here, and I've seen the link. Alan Mullally, where are you? I'm going to get Alan Mullally to join.
Karthik Carter just said Norman rocks. And yeah, you do, Norman. You rock.
Yeah,
and Javaj Max says Ollie Pope and Zach Crowley. Hey, I didn't finish that comment, but yeah. And Butler is better than Punt, and Richard Punt. Butler is still better than Punt. Butler.
Well, that's interesting.
Controversial.
That's very interesting. Very interesting. So again, we're going to be on for every pre-session, which will be roughly 6 p.m. our time, maybe a bit later next time. We're a bit early, that's okay. But we're going to be the post event. Now, the post event is going to be, if we finish at 6 p.m., the game will be actually. So Alan Mullally's he's ringing me. I'm just going to. Alan, get on I'm live. Get on, quick. Join us. So
he's going to jump on.
Saban, who's Alan Mullally? Do you know who Alan Mullally is?
Yeah. He was an England cricketer.
He was an opening left-arm bowler for England.
Yeah, very good action, tall man.
He's about to join us in a minute. He wanted to.
And I believe he's.
He was born
I believe
in
he's good
Western
mates. Oh, was he? Oh.
He grew
And I
up
believe
in
he's good
Western
mates with.
Australia.
Adam Hollyout was born in
okay.
Australia too, but they both played for England.
Yeah. And Alan's good mates with Mick Jagger. None other than the Rolling Stone, Mick Jagger.
You can ask him that, Steve. You can ask him that.
I will. Yeah. So, and also,
Alan Mullally's telling me he's just spoken to someone else, and he just spoke to Tugger Seaboard. Would he get on the Alan Mullally? Get on the. Join us.
Quinton de Cox said there's no comparison between Punt and Butler. There's no comparison.
Alan Mullally, he knows I'm on. He's telling me, guess who I just spoke to, apart from Tugger, as in Seaboard. All right. The toss is 10 minutes away, or less than 10 minutes now. And the mantra for Lords is look up, not down. So don't look at the wicket, look up the sky.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful sunny day. It's a beautiful sunny day, so we expect the winning captain to bat first. That should always be the case for any cricketing nation. You should bat first in the first match. And that's going to be interesting. So whoever wins the toss will bat first. So it'll be very interesting to see how that goes.
And our Chisman Mitchell just said Norman and Steve would make a good opening combination or a finishing combo. What's your take? Just asking. So there you go. They've got us opening the bat, or Norman.
Well, I was a wicket-keeper batsman in my day, but I could bowl a few wobblers. I love the ball coming on the bat. I'm like a Chris Gale. I love that ball. There's a video of me facing none other than Shripali Wirikoti, the opening bowler for Sri Lanka, and I smacked her on the streets all over the joint. Worth watching. Okay. All right. So
there you go.
Now, Saban,
slightly off topic. Which associate team would you want to see get full member status? Is that to do with your channel or which?
No. I'm talking about associate team is teams that are not in the top 10, 15 nations that they've got. Like Ireland recently joined. We had Afghanistan join. So one of the associate countries could be an Oman, for example. Oman are very close.
Right.
So
we
lost Saban. So that's good.
Saban, he's gone.
He probably just disconnected. So I don't know what happened to him. So Alan Mullally is text messaging me, not going on. What are you doing? I'm going to ring him up.
Yeah.
There he is. Alan, get on, would you? What? Join. So he saw.
Oh, okay. But
Okay.
so Derek Max says Zach Crowley and Ollie Pope are the batsmen I like to watch. And also Quentin de Kock says no Ben Stokes, no England.
That's pretty heavy comment.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty good. So look, Zach Crowley, you listen to that name, Steve. When it comes to the Ashes series, he's a first dropper, and he basically he's a first drop batsman. He suits the Australian conditions on the ground. Now I've just got a message from that cricket guy. He says it's raining cats and dogs. Internet issues. Will join as soon as possible. That's why he's cut off because it's raining like. In fact, did you hear in the background? I heard thunder when he was online. Actually.
Yes, I did. I did hear that. So it's a nice day
amazing.
here in.
Saban's amazing. He has the channel, that cricket guy. He gets videos that no one else gets. We don't know how he gets them, but we're going to find out more about that very shortly.
Okay, Quentin, what channel on TV? It's on Fox Cricket on our Foxtel pay TV here in Australia. So that'll be live on Fox Cricket. I'll be on night shift tonight, so I'll be tuning in and watching that hopefully I'm in the office or something where I can keep one eye on my work and one eye on the TV. But yeah, Fox Cricket, a dedicated cricket channel in HD here in Australia. I don't think it's on free to air here. Today is Steve Smith's birthday. Steve Smith's birthday.
It's his birthday today.
There you go. The great Delhi Capitals Aussie player.
I thought it was Delhi.
No.
We're going to give it a down. We're going to give it a down. Hi, Delhi.
The Delhi Capitals, but no, it's in New Delhi, the capital, and it's funny that he's got the Delhi Capitals. They're up to the north of India. I've got Kolkata Knight Riders to the east, and then our other co-host in the show, Grant Chappell, likes the Mumbai Indians, and they're over to the west. So we've spread our teams out around the continent. But so there'll be more clashes.
Charlie's got Mumbai Indians. You've got KKR. Both. Actually, I'm truly a Delhi Capitals supporter as well. By the way, I'm also a part of it. Are there any fans for CSK in Australia? You know, when I did my last street discussion, where virtually no one supports CSK. I don't know why. Probably because there aren't that many Australian players playing for that team. That's probably why. So we're only a matter of 2 minutes, I think it is, 1 minute away from the toss. And as we said,
we'll know who's batting, but Kenny's Farmer does night shift too. So yes, we're both doing night shift, and you'd like England to win the series from an Indian perspective. We'll be watching New Zealand team like a hawk. So there you go. So it's going to be a big game. A lot of interest from India. Be watching how the New Zealand team plays for this historic game on June 18, the WTC final. And here's Alan Mullally joining us.
We're joined by Alan the Spider Mullally, who looks like what are you wearing? You're wearing like a hoodie?
They're called glasses. I'm going blind.
No, I don't mean glass. I mean I'm
Same.
talking about
Me too.
Steve Maven, Alan Spider Mullally.
Hey Steve, how you doing, man?
Hello, mate. Yeah, pleased to meet you.
I'll go that way, or that's more.
Well, do you follow rugby league over there in WA, Alan?
Rugby league, yes.
Who's your
and
favourite
rugby
team?
union, like the Leicester Tigers, Martin Johnson,
Who?
Will Greenwood.
Yeah.
Won the World Cup
Richmond.
back here many moons ago. They brought them all the beer. Austin Healy. Yep. But rugby league. Do I follow rugby league? I know a guy called Jimmy the Jet.
Jimmy the Jet, yes, James Roberts. Yeah, he played for the Broncos.
Steve, and Benny Barber, who went off to play for Toulouse in France.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, he's a Bulldogs legend, and he was a great player. I've been out on the drink with Benny Barber.
By the way, here's one thing for you, Steve. Do you know the background of Jimmy the Jet?
Well, he's from the local area. He's actually, my daughter actually knows him from Sydney.
He's one of my good
Jimmy
friends.
the Jet, James Roberts.
He tried to tell me he's got some Irish blood in him.
Well, he could. I know he's part Indigenous Australian, James Roberts, Jimmy the Jet. So yeah, he may well have.
He's got issues.
Oh, he's quick, and he has. But hey, people in glass houses, I suppose. We've all got some things in our past, but yeah, he came to the Rabbitohs with high hopes.
He's a very good friend of mine. He's a fantastic chap. And I'm going to
he's a great young kid
right now. I went through this thing called depression, massively. I thought it was suicide the whole lot. And
Alan,
I
you
was
still
in
haven't-
at this gaff, and my mates
Alan, you haven't told us who your rugby league team is yet. You've told us about Jimmy the Jet and about Benny Barber. What about a team?
About who?
Who is your rugby league
Anyway,
team?
I was with both of them in this rehab place in Thailand. I was there for depression because my mate owns a gaff, right? Martin Peters. It's on Facebook. And actually, the other fellow I just spoke to, Darren, who's on Facebook, he owns it as well. Because they were all shut down. Brilliant. And they said to me, Alan, can you be their mentor? So you're not meant to do anything till 7 o'clock when the boss says. They used to come to my bedroom, my room. We used to have the best coffee and just talk and laugh and joke. And they're two of the nicest guys I've ever met.
Yep, yeah, and I remember when he went there for treating that. So New Zealand's won the toss and chose the bat. Yeah, so that is it's a serious issue, and it's ironic that my co-host Darren Brown's just jumped on and he said Rabbitohs Radio is the best, and he's actually he did a walk from the Gold Coast to Sydney to support mental health, and we've got a lot of charities that we support because it is a big problem in society today, mental health, and you just hear that in a
Do you know that it's amazing, really? I didn't quite realise, but well, for me it was different. I retired from cricket, not the way I wanted to, from Hampshire. I was married to a girl from Perth, and it just snowballed where she mugged me off. I came back here, turned down a 3-year contract with a few bob. It's on the BBC radio, this interview. Bared my heart and soul. And I thought, well, come back here, we're going to start a family. Then one morning she wakes up and she goes, I'm off. And I'm thinking, well, the shop's not open at the moment. I'm leaving you. After 10 years of her not earning a cent. And then you had that. It cost me a lot of money. And then this guy in business. And by the way, Steve, if you can on the right-hand side on your phone, Google Chris Brown Perth. Norman's seen it. He's dad. Google that. Him and his old man.
Yep.
And I'm still waiting for this guy called Bunsey to drop off the paperwork, by the way, Norman, because the tax man's waiting.
Oh, okay.
So right
yeah.
I'm going to digress here, guys.
My dad passed away. That hit me like a ton of bricks.
Yeah, that's sad, mate.
That would be terrible. Well, look, you're online now. You're online now.
Bounce back and we're laughing and joking. Anyway, more importantly, guess what you spoke to?
You spoke to
not Mick Jagger.
Pardon?
It's not Mick Jagger. Mick Jagger? Yeah, you mates with Mick Jagger?
Yeah. Hugh Grant.
There you go. What's he like?
Who, Mick?
Yeah.
It'll cost you.
Oh, come on. Give us this. Can you I'll sing a Rolling Stones song with you.
Are you going to tell us or not? You're going to tell us or not? Come on.
Well, it depends. Do you want the story or not?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the story.
Yeah. Yes.
Hang on, hang 5. Oh, where is it?
While we're waiting on that, Steve, I've got Asham and Mishra said the Saturday for the World Test Championship.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's exactly
You
right.
and Mick somewhere. Where is he?
He's there. Yep. You and Mick.
That's your.
That's my
the other one, the other side. There he is, you and Mick.
Right,
great
now,
man.
Steve, ask me a question about that photo.
Yes, tell us about that photo, mate. I know it's off track from cricket, but he is a superstar. And sorry, Canish Farmer, we are looking at your questions. Are conditions suitable for batsmen? Any news on what kind of pitch they are playing on? But the New Zealand's won the toss.
It's going to be a batting pitch, by the way.
Steve, who's that bloke?
Yeah, that's I can't see. Is that Mick as well, or no? I can't see the guy in that. Yeah, I don't know.
Now, guys, I'm I've got an update.
My God, Steve, you should know this.
I couldn't really see because of
by the way,
reflection.
Norman, before we get started,
Alan, are you going to tell us about who? I'm about to announce the two teams. Who did you talk to?
I've been playing my guitar. Actually, no, I've not been playing my guitar, but I've got it tuned, I think.
No, but Alan, just tell us who you were talking to, because I've got to announce the two sides quickly.
Cameron Bancroft and Steve Waugh.
There you go.
Oh,
Now,
there
Steve,
you go. I told. Yep.
the story behind that photo of Mick Jagger, and that
Yep.
one. By the way, I'm shit at guitar.
Okay,
And
Alan,
Norman,
give me
2
Alan,
seconds.
2 seconds. But yeah,
He's going to play guitar for us.
now, let me announce the sides now. Okay, England is Rory
Go.
Burns, Sibley, Crawley, Root, Ollie Pope, Lawrence, Bracey, who's keeping, Ollie Robertson, Broad, Wood and Anderson, as we expected. New Zealand is Latham, Conway, Williamson, Ross Taylor, Henry Nichols, Watling, Colin de Grandhope gets a Guernsey, and then we have Mitchell Santner. So Mitchell Santner's a spinner for East Play, then Jamison, Southey, and Wagner. So they've actually gone for a spinner, whereas England haven't, which is interesting. So that means that we would have had Trent Bolt in the team, which probably would have meant Mitchell Santner would have got a drop. Would have been dropped. So that's it. Does look like a good. Both teams be great. It's going to be an exciting match. So, before you let Alan digress, hint
Again.
Where are you?
Alan,
where are you?
I'm trying to explain those photos that I spoke to.
Well, we know one was Mick Jagger, one was your ex-wife.
No, it wasn't, you moron.
What? Was it Stevie Nicks? Who was it?
It's dry. So yeah, Sonny, it's dry with a hint of green. Sonny with the early session will be the key. So we're going to get to see Devin Conway, whether he's going to fail or he's going to shine in opening the batting.
That's exciting, actually. It's very exciting.
Yeah. So we'll be watching that with interest, and also you'll be, obviously Tom Latham up the other end. So will they get runs? Yeah.
So James Anderson's equaling Cook for the most England caps.
Oh, there you go.
The one you didn't recognise. Before we get started, right?
Brian Adams.
Brian Adams. Wow.
Brian Adams, by the way.
There you go. What a singer.
What's Brian Adams got to do with England versus?
He's in a photo with him. Not much, but he's a superstar.
Now, the other photo was me and Mick Jagger, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Now I'm starting to brag. That was on an island called Mustique in the Caribbean. Had Mick Jagger's New Year's Eve party, which was awesome. Well, I could have.
Hang on. That was Brian Adams playing guitar, and you were there with Mick Jagger. Is that what that is?
In Mustique, yeah. The photo, yeah. Hello.
Yep.
Steve,
Alan, it's pretty impressive, mate. It's pretty impressive.
Not really.
All right.
Steve, have you got my mobile, Steve?
No, I haven't. No.
Do you want it?
No. Yeah. My word. Yeah.
Well, normally give it to you. Because there's things I can't say on here that I could say.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. No worries. Yeah. We'll do that. Devin Conway versus Jimmy. There'll be a little moisture early, one before the sun burns it off. So there you go. Big Jimmy Anderson bowling down, hurtling down the pitch at Devin Conway. So that'll be an interesting clash as well. So yeah. Prediction. What's your prediction? Well.
Okay. Steve, did you see my message?
I will have a look. Don't think it came through, mate.
Steve Maven, I've sent to you.
Home. Oh, I just sent. Oh, there we go. There you go. Okay, no worries.
All right, now
All
So
right.
again, Shivam Shah, we're aware of the sides. We'll get a prediction off you in a minute. I'll go through the side one more time. Rory Burns with
Yep.
Sibley, Crawley 1,
Yep.
Root 4, Ollie Pope 5, 6 Dan Lawrence, Bracey keeping at number 7, Ollie Robinson who can bat at 8. Of course, Broad, Wood, and Anderson up the tail. New Zealand have Tom Latham, as you know, Conway, which we talked about, Kane Williamson, Taylor, Nichols, Watling,
I've got the cricket on.
Graham, Santner, Jamieson, Southend, Wagner. So it's a good squad there.
Yep. England
So,
have a new player
Alan,
from
are you
Gloucestershire.
okay? Alan.
Yeah.
He's watching the cricket.
I think I've got the right channel. We're a
It
bit
hasn't
backwards
started
here.
yet. Hasn't started yet. It starts in about 18 minutes. All right. So what's the prediction? With New Zealand winning the toss and batting?
Oh, Lord.
Well, you can't go past New Zealand winning the toss and batting. They're a good side and they're higher up in the rankings than England. So I hate to disappoint any England. Lords. It's at Lords, and apparently the stands there are looking great. The new stands.
Yeah, the brand new near the so-called JP Morgan Media Centre. There's 2 stands.
Blue sky, back.
Blue sky.
Blue sky. There you go. And it says a reduced crowd, 25% only are allowed in there. But yeah, so
it is. Blue sky.
So Alan, do you want to tell us about what you spoke to Cameron Bancroft about?
You'd die to hear that, aren't you? It's going to cost you money. Now, I coached Cameron, oh God, when he played for Willerton years ago. And God, we had a lot of fun. He's very talented. And do you want to know what I spoke to him about, quite bluntly? And it took him a few years to get the courage up, because I'm like his mentor kind of thing. He called me. I said, what on earth are you playing at? He goes, well, Al, what do you mean? This match fixing, ball tampering stuff. I said, you cost me so many sleepless nights. He goes, why? A true story. I had phone calls from all over the world, from the newspapers, from London, South Africa, Australia. Blah, what do you think? You coach Cameron, what should happen? He goes, well, what'd you say? And I said, you should be banned for life. He goes, really? Yeah. And he said, but why? And I said, Cameron, I've known you since you were 15. Did I not teach you how to ball tamper properly? I said, that scratching the ball was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. I know you can bat.
Yeah.
I know you can play well, but that was I said, mate, disgraceful. He goes, well, what do you mean? I said, that glass paper, what are you playing at? I said, didn't I teach you how to do it properly? He goes, you know what he said to me? He goes, you know what, Al? He said, you did pull me aside at Willerton with an old cricket ball, and you said, scratch the rough side, right? Scratch the rough side and pick it. And then go,
wow. So it's your fault. It's your fault.
I actually gave him some Vaseline on the Chinese. I said, that's how you reverse swing. Go on, carry on. I said, usually he's banned for life. I said,
So that
But
famous
you didn't tell
incident.
you didn't tell him to use a bit of sandpaper, though, did you?
Pardon?
You didn't tell him to get a bit of sandpaper.
No, I said, I taught you well. Actually, I did say to him, oh, God, about a year ago, I spoke to Wazim. I said, what'd you make of that? He goes, Spider, what on earth is he playing at? That was rubbish. I know you coach him. Because he actually went to Willerton, Wazim, with me to do a speech. And there's Cameron, well, then he was about 13. He's like, Cameron, what are you doing? I taught you well. Because I know you did, but the bottom line, I said, what do you make of that bloke, the left-hand batter? Warner, what's it called? Warner? Dave Warner?
Yeah.
Dave Warner, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I said to him, what do you make of him? I said, back in the day when I was bowling 90 mile an hour, I would love to bowl to him. I would knock his head off. He goes, Al, I know you would. I said, but what do you make of him? He goes, Al. That's what he said, Al. I think he was done like a kipper. Then I spoke to a certain other person who might have played a bit of cricket. Norman.
Steve Waugh.
Stephen Moore. Yeah, we just talked about him before. What a player he was back in the day.
So
One of the greats.
did you talk about?
Pardon?
What did you talk about?
Oh, of course, yeah. The YouTube channel.
Just put it on his bill.
Are you charging me to say something? Is that what you're doing?
Pardon?
What do you say?
Cash
I
for comment.
spoke to Steve Waugh just now about Cameron,
Right.
and he said he's going to be a good player. I said, I know that. And I said, your staging was still shit. Even these years later.
It just seems like Cameron Bancroft's on the
But
outer in
seriously, I
terms
did
of
speak to
selection.
Steve.
Right?
What do you make of Cameron? He goes out, he's going to be a very good player.
I feel sorry for him because of that damn.
Ball there wasn't even ball tampering. It was Dave Warner being a dimwit.
Yeah.
And it cost Steve Smith. And it's like, I said, Cam, what do you make of Warner? He goes, Al. And that was it. In other words, I could say other words.
I've got to get going, boys. I've got to go to work, and I'm going to watch the game.
What time is your work?
Yeah, I've got to go and get ready soon. So I'm out of here.
Steve.
But it's been good joining you, boys.
Steve, you're into the old rugby league.
Rugby League, the Rabbitohs. Yes, I host a podcast called Rabbitohs Radio.
Pardon?
And I've also got a YouTube channel, Rabbitohs Radio. So, yeah, Rabbitohs TV.
Can you please tell me these things? Because I have no idea.
Well, I used to play football for the...
That's the Gladiator. Had that film on earlier.
Russell Crowe, yeah. I played 89 first grade games for the Rabbitohs, and now I do the podcast, and we've got a YouTube channel, Rabbitohs TV, and we go live and all that sort of stuff. We interview people. We've interviewed...
Hence my question earlier. Alan, hence my question earlier. Who do you barrack for in the rugby league? You're going to say Rabbitohs, aren't you?
You know something? I'll be dead honest now. I was into the union because obviously Martin Johnson's a mate of mine, Will Greenwood, and all that sort of stuff. And here's one for you, Steve. They came to Grace Road, which is where Leicester, like the Wacker, whatever, right? They go, Al, can I face you? This is Martin Johnson, Will Greenwood, Austin Healy. Okay. They put all my gear on. Been about 80 mile an hour. 80 mile an hour. Can you bowl faster? Martin Johnson sconned him. He goes, I'm not facing that. That's going to kill me. He's a behemoth walking out, and I'm like, you wouldn't face that, but I can't bat for my life. But I've faced Waz Macram, Alan Donald at 98 mile an hour, got hit in the head.
There you go.
I'd much rather that than have you coming at me, or God bless him, the New Zealand, the Kiwi All Black. The big fellow, the Kinney fellow.
John Lomu.
Oh, what an athlete. I'm like,
well, that was...
What would you expect? I would much rather face Waz Macram or Alan Donald at 95 mile an hour. I cannot bat. Than have him come at me. You know what they said to me?
Yeah, well, they're both...
Ball, I can't see. But Joe Lumu, I can, and we've got technique to do our thing. So explain to me, Steve.
That's right.
Okay, brag about yourself. So I know that you're being very humble.
We've got a great show, guys. We've had David Graveney, we've had Chris Vernon, we've had John with him as well. We've had Steve, we've had Soban. We've had, how many is we've had, I'll go through it again. We've got us three. We've got plus Chris Vernon, Dave Graveney, John, and Soban. We had somewhat 8 or 9 people. No.
Yeah, we had a few come through, So we've been here the whole time.
Steve. I'm going to try and show you something. Norman's got it, right? Russell Crowe's cousins, because he's a Kiwi.
Martin. Yeah, Martin.
And Jeff.
Yes.
And
Jeff.
Norman's got the scorecard. 1990, was it, Norman? You got the scorecard? 6 for 38. I thought I got Martin Crowe out. But it was Jeff Crowe.
There you go.
Brother. Hang on.
Well, you got one of them, yeah.
All right, Steve. You want to go, Steve?
I'm going to get going, so I'll just watch this and then I'll go.
Well, last look at the glass there.
There you go. Look at that. Oh, nice. Bit of chance. Gloucestershire versus New Zealand. There you go.
No, it was Leicester.
All right, boys.
All right, Steve.
Oh, sorry.
Alan, Steve's saying goodbye. He's got to go to work. So Steve just left us. He had to go to work. And Steve Maven played rugby league. Are you cranky with me or something, Alan?
No, not at all. Why?
I don't know. You look
Cranky with myself because this the WhatsApp thing worked or StreamYard when I had my phone next to it. I didn't realise that.
That's right. Okay. I sent it to you earlier on. I sent it to everybody, the link. Anyway, so your predictions for this test match. New Zealand are batting first in a matter of only, 8 minutes' time they're going to bat first. Who do you reckon is going to win, New Zealand or England?
I'm not quite seeing the teams yet.
All right, well, the teams, you want to read them out quickly, sir?
Lords, so New Zealand won the toss, yeah?
New Zealand won the toss.
And they're going to bat.
And you got the teams are Rory Burns, Sibley, Crawley, Root, Pope, Lawrence, James Bracey's keeping, who's someone known to David Gravity. We've also got Ollie Robinson, who's come in to bowl and bat. Also, then Broad, Anderson, and Wood. That's a pretty good bowling attack. Then you got Tom Latham, Devin Conway, the South African, who's now playing for New Zealand.
It's a blue sky. Who won the toss?
New Zealand won the toss.
And they're going to do what?
Bat. Then you got obviously Kane Williamson, Ross Taylor,
Tell you what,
Henry
I'll get
Nichols.
back to you in about 2 hours' time. I would dare say if New Zealand are 1 for 100 at lunch, my money's on New Zealand. You know why?
Why?
Because when you play at Lords, right? If it's the blue sky, no matter how green the wicket, blue sky, bat. If it's overcast and it's a flat wicket with no grass, bowl. The overcast conditions there in London in Lords are amazing. And I know that because we won the toss when I played against New Zealand and we bowled and there was a blue sky. It was so flat. Yet the wicket looked green. It's amazing how it works, Norman. Just amazing.
I know. Well, you've taken wickets, a lot of wickets at Lords, haven't you?
Couple.
What's a couple, mate?
A couple. Man of the match, World Cup, striker, 437, won the game. Thank you very much.
So,
Netwish Trophy.
Devin Conway's up.
Devin Conway, I'm not going to brag. Been had some fun.
All right, we're going to say goodbye now to our viewers. Alan,
have you sent me a cap and a mug?
I've already organised it. You give me address. It's in the mail. This colour?
The check's in the mail.
No, don't be like that. That's not nice.
I'm only messing with you. So is it just me and you? How's your
just
mum?
me and you now. We're left. We're going to leave now. We've been going 1 hour and 47 minutes. So it's time to leave. Huh?
Mum is making the most fantastic chicken and leek soup for the past 2 hours.
Be nice to see. All right, Alan. Thank you again for your time. Namaste. We'll talk more, and the channel is almost up and running. I have just done the last bits of it, and it'll be sent before the weekend's out. We'll have it done. Okay, I promise.
And also, I sent you. I tried time and time again. A mate of mine, Darren, good. He's on one of mine on Facebook. He works with Microsoft, and that video thing I said with Lily and all his photos. That's quite cool.
No, I mean you've got some great photos, and I've uploaded. If you go to my community part of the page, you'll see them all. All right, we're going to get going. It's time for the game.
Okay.
All right,
what time are you back on?
After the game, which could be as late as 3 a.m. in the morning, 1 o'clock your time. I'm not sure. Around midnight, 1 o'clock. I'll let you know if you're awake.
Okay.
So, guys, after the match, the game's starting now.
Boy.
So they normally go 11 to 6.
Hey, Sahib Mohammed, how are you? From the United Arab Emirates. Now, there's a place, a lovely place.
It's actually going to be 3 in the morning. All right. Alan, all the best, mate. We'll say goodbye to our viewers. All right. Take care. So the game, after preview and post-review. Preview's done. Great numbers. Post-review, we'll talk then. All right. Thank you all, guys.
Well, no, hang on. They're out there.
You watching?
I'm watching. I've got live there. ANZ, New Zealand. Batting first. My money is on New Zealand.
All right. I think it's going to be a great match.
They've got a big, tall fellow who bats and bowls.
All right, Alan. We'll say goodbye now to our viewers. We'll talk later. All right? Ciao,
Okay,
ciao.
ciao.
Thank you. Ciao, thank you.
Ciao, ciao.